In this video, I'm going to take a look at a program called GNOME Split. Now, if you're not using GNOME, it will still work on other Ubuntu distributions. I'm using Ubuntu Mate. If you look here, GNOME Split is a tool that allows you to split files and merge them back together. And if you found this video on YouTube, I will provide a link below that will show you the instructions for installing it or even uninstalling it if you do not want it on your system anymore. And it shows you how to use the program, step-by-step illustrations on how to split a file and how to merge a file. But I will also demonstrate it on this video. And this is what it looks like when after you install the program and you load it up for the first time. Except for the first time, you will have a little assistant that will pop up. Now, here's the instructions for installing it. You just open up your terminal, you copy this line, paste it into your terminal, press the enter or return key, put your password, and then say sudo apt-get install the GNOME Split and press the return. And like I said, once you install it, it will be in your accessories. If you're using Ubuntu Mate and using the traditional menu, it could be throughout the different menus of different distributions of different types of Linux. Now here's the assistant. That's what it looks like when you first bring it up. You can uncheck the assistant. Instead of showing you all the pictures, let's actually use the program. Go to Applications, Accessories, click on GNOME Split. It takes a moment or two. I left it checked so I can show you how to disable the assistant. The first time you run it, it will show this little assistance dialog box, and it will navigate you step by step. So if you've never used a splitting program or a merging program, you can just answer these questions and it will help you do it. You can say, I want to split a file, okay, and then it'll tell you locate your file. It just tells you step by step what to do. Now, if you don't need the assistant, and it's very easy, because each time you answer a question, it takes you to another screen. This screen right here does it all in one screen, all in one dialog box, all in one program. You can choose whether you're going to split a file, merge a file. You're going to choose the file by clicking the folder, finding your file, and then it will place the name of the file here that will be your destination. You can change the name. You can change your folder where you want it put into, how many file chunks you want to separate it into, and you can choose chunks. You can put it in bytes, kilobytes, megabytes, gigabytes, the size of a CDR, so if you're breaking apart to burn to CDs, or even DVDs. So if it's over 4.7 gigabytes, you can split it up in DVD size and burn them to a DVD. But in this case, we're going to choose chunks. That's the individual pieces. And there are several different algorithms. The default one is generic, and it's the most popular. And I'll show you what the different algorithms are in just a moment. Before we do, let's take a look across the menu. You can bring your assistant back up by going File. You can open up a folder. You can hit the quit. These are dim, meaning that you can't do anything to them at the moment. Your preferences. You can come in here and you say to show the assistant. If you've unchecked it, you can put it back on there. You can allow multiple instances of this to run at one time. The interface, you can have it to come up to split as the default or to merge as the default, depending upon what you're doing most often. You can set the custom size here for your chunks. When you choose number of chunks, you can set that. For splitting, you can say calculate the MD5 sum if possible. You can choose the default algorithm, and you can change your default split folder. By default, it's set with the home. I've changed mine since I've been splitting up video files to my video folder. Now, if for some reason you change this like from home folder to another folder and it don't accept it, when you go to split the file or merge the file, if it goes back into your home folder, more likely you've just installed it and you may need to reboot your system and then come back in here and change that folder. Your merge, this is your check. If this is just these little things right here, just kind of goes through and confirm that it's going to work. And then after your merge, you can say remove the chunks. That's the pieces that's on your system. If you want to leave those behind, don't check that, because that will delete them after it merges them together. You can say open the created file. Like if you're using a video file, it will open it with your video player. If you're merging together a file that's like a PDF file, it will open your PDF viewer, and so on and so forth. So the file extension that's associated with a program, if you have that check after it's merged, it'll automatically open on your screen. And just like the split, you can have it set to a default directory. In this case, since I was merging video files, I changed the default directory to videos. It don't have to be set to that. You can even create your folder called merge and set this one to a merge directory, create your folder called split and put those in the default directory there. And then for your desktop, you got your power management notifications that pops up here when they're finished, and that's just the preferences. All right, let's go and open a file. As you can see here in my videos folder, that's what I'm currently videoing now. I'm going to chop this one up. Now, it's a very small file. It's 127.5 megabytes, which is very small, but if I did choose something over 5 gigabytes or larger, it would just take more time. So it's the same principle. I click the folder here next to file. I'm going to split the file in two. So I'm going to click on the folder, and since my videos was the default, it opened up here. I'm going to select how to crop the edges of a video using Avidemux. Click open. That's my file now that I'm going to be splitting in two. I can change my destination name, but since it's going to add a different extension, the MP4, I can leave it the same. And I can change this folder if I want to. If I don't want it in videos, I can choose any other folder and it will place it in that folder. But in that case, I'm going to leave it in videos. And as you can see here, I only have that file and the file that's currently being recorded and 2 other folders containing miscellaneous files and videos that I've made that I posted on YouTube. I'm going to change my chunk size because if it's 1, it's just 1 to 1. I'm not really splitting it in 2. So I'm going to split it into 2 pieces. If you want it more than 2 pieces, you can increase or decrease the number accordingly. I'm going to choose chunks. That just means it breaks it down into 2 file sizes. It tries to break them down evenly, but since this file is not, a gigantic file, the first file size will be larger than the other one. Now I'm going to choose GNOME Split. I'm going to save generic to last because that's the most popular. Let's go to GNOME Split to look at the extension that it will create. And I'll go through each algorithm since that's a small file size. The GNOME Split, if you split it GNOME Split, you can click the split button and it's finished. If I go here, as you can see here, here's the original file and here's the MP4 file split in two. So if you look down here, that's 63.7 megabytes. This one's 63.7 megabytes. So at this time it did break them up evenly in file size, and that makes them a lot easier. Like if you're sending these as an attachment, breaking them down for some ISP or email clients, they do have a maximum size for attachments. It makes it easier to send across the internet. Compared to the whole video. Now as you look here, it has an extension. It leaves the MP4, but it adds the .001 and then the next in 002, and it will go on 003, 4, 5, 6, however many files that you broke it into. But it also adds another extension .gsp, and that's using the GNOME Split algorithm, and it works great. But I'm going to delete these 2 because I'm going to split them for each algorithm. And I'm going to leave this up in the background so you can see it as it happens. I'm going to go to the extreme split. When I hit split, it's very quickly, just like the other one, the GNOME Split, it's going to separate those into 2 file sizes of equal sizes. But this time, instead of having the extension that it had earlier, it's now got the 001 and the number counts increased by each file size, but it adds an extension XTM. So when I merge them back together, it will be back to the original video file. But that's for the extreme split. Let me delete those. Now let me go to the next one, the KFK. When I hit split, it does it very quickly. As you can see, if you don't like that notification, you go in preferences and turn that notification off. But as you can see here, this one does, instead of 001, 002, this one does KK0, KK1, and KK2, 3, 4, and 5, and so on and so forth. As you can see here, they're all the same file size. It just basically splits that file into 2 pieces, and if you were to have 3 files, it would divide it into 3 different file sizes. And since that can be broken in half, when you get 3 file sizes, sometimes, since it's an odd number, that's when your file sizes may not be exactly equal in sizes. The last one sometimes will be smaller than the other 2. Alright, let me delete this one. Let's go to the last one, yo-yo cut. Hit split. And there it is. The yo-yo cut added a 001, 002, but then it also add the extension YCT. So as you can see here, they should be 63.7. They split the file in half, so I'll delete those. Now I'm going to go back to the very first one, the generic. This is the most popular one that's been around the longest. All it's going to do is take this extension and add a .001 and 002 and so on and so forth. So when I hit split, It now took this MP4 and added .001, .002. If I click here, you can see it's 63.7 for both files. So it split them evenly in two. If I went and said chunks size of 3, then that's where the first two would probably be about the same size, and the third one maybe slightly smaller. But as you can see here, the generic one is the most popular format for splitting across the internet. Now you will see these other ones, and that's why they exist here, but this generic one, if you look on my webpage and I go down to the bottom, it tells you that it's compatible with other ones that's across, like if you're using G-Split and MS Windows, it can split them up with the 001, 002. If you're using HJ-Split in Windows, and that can also be used in Linux, it splits them in that type format. And I think these other two does have different algorithms as well. Alright, now let's go and merge the two videos. So I'm going to take and delete this video, which this video would play if I click on it. But now that's not to show you that that video plays. I'm going to show you that this video plays. Here's the two files that are not video files now. They're just cut in two. If I take now and switch back over to merge, now it clears out the box because it doesn't have my original video file because I deleted it. But anyhow, that's not a file chunk. All you need to do in this case is choose the first file that you want to merge together, and that's why I've been deleting those, so that way that it will automatically find the next file in that folder and it will merge them, so you don't have to select all the files. So once I check merge, I click here, I choose the first file with a 001 extension, I hit open. Now there's the destination name it will give. You can change the name. I'm going to choose the video folder that it places it back in this folder. If you want it in another folder, you just click the drop down and choose another folder. It will tell you that it's going to merge two chunks, and that's one, there's two. It tells you the total size, and it tells you right now that a file will not be calculated and placed in this folder, not unless I go through and change my preferences. Alright, now watch how quickly it will merge those two together and place that video file back in this folder. So when I hit to merge, I click the little play button, and it's done. It says it's finished. The only reason it didn't create the little icon is because this is the second time it was created, so if I was to refresh, it would probably create the icon. Or if I come in here and just slightly change the name, let's say instead of how to with a space, I can put the little dash here and press the enter key, and as you can see, the icon, or an icon for the video, kind of a preview, is now seen in the icon. So when I click this, it now plays without any problems. So this is a way that you can merge not just video files and split video files. I've watched a YouTube video where another person had talked about the GNOME Split, and people down below was saying, well, use Avidemux, it's better for splitting videos. Well, this is not just talking about splitting videos. You can split a large PDF file, you can split any type of file extension. So I just used a video file as an example. You know, you can use anything. Like if you go down to the very bottom of my website, it talks about files that reach a certain limit. Like for example, if you're trying to install a large file on a USB. Most USBs are formatted with FAT32 type of format. You know, they can only hold a maximum of 4 gigabytes, if I'm not mistaken, in file size. So if you're trying to put something larger than 4 gigabytes on a USB thumb drive formatted with FAT32, it won't, because that exceeds the maximum individual file size. So this program is great for cutting it up so that you can put multiple files on it, so when you get back to your other machine, you can copy those files on it and merge them back together and use that file. Now you can reformat your thumb drive to where it's not FAT32. You're changing it to NTFS, and that's the format used for Windows. So if you put this into a Mac system, it will be basically read-only, and a lot of smart devices like smart TVs and Blu-ray players won't recognize the NTFS. So if you reformat those and put a larger file, it's not going to recognize them. Now if you're uncompressing these, or not compressing them, but if you're splitting them up or merging them, you're not going to be able to put that FAT32 thumb drive in your smart TV and watch a video that's been cut in two with the extension of .001 and .002. That's only for like sending across the internet. So if you have limitations on your file size as an attachment, you can cut a file in two and send multiple files, attachments, and then that way you can put them back together, merge them back together with this program. Hopefully this video has been helpful to you to help you understand what the GNOME Split program is and how you can use it to split file and merge files back together. And have a great day.